so glad to have you here today listening to the Spiritual Cocaine Podcast. I am Jesika Miller, the mind trainer and Phobia Eliminator and founder of spiritualcocaine.com. Spiritual Cocaine was started as a resource to connect you with gifted practitioners that could guide you to reaching your highest self, heal the deepest parts of you that need healing, and remove any obstacles standing in your way of your best possible life. Join us weekly for high-quality guests and invaluable information that will change your life. SpiritualCocaine.com serves as a directory of practitioners, healers, coaches, and light workers sharing their gifts with you to take you to the highest levels of your being by healing your mind, body, and spirit, and in turn accessing your inner high. Our practitioners, healers, coaches, and light workers offer one-on-one session, group classes, courses, and events throughout the world. You can log on and look through a variety of practitioners, or if you are a practitioner yourself, you can create a profile for others to get to know you and use your services. Join the movement, find your guide, and get high on spiritual cocaine. Hello, and welcome to the Spiritual Cocaine Podcast, where we teach you to heal those parts of yourself that hold you back from living your best life. Spiritual Cocaine is an unlimited resource to show you the infinite ways to reach limitless happiness and abundance using the quantum field. I'm your host, Jesika, the mind trainer, and today we have Katharine DiMaggio, who's an incredibly talented woman that I'm so excited for you to get to know. So, Katharine, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Hi. Thank you so much for having me on,
Thanks
Jesika.
for being here.
I'm Katharine, and I'm a coach. I help women who are feeling unfulfilled, stuck, burnt out at their jobs to reconnect with what really lights them up, connect with their confidence, connect with their purpose, that deeper reason and mission that they feel that they're here and what they're meant to do so that they can step into that dream career. So I am LA based. I'm originally from New York, but I've been here in LA for 3 years, and this has been absolutely in like a meta way. It's been me fulfilling my purpose to help other women find theirs. So
Amazing.
It's been absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So how did you get started in this?
So my background is actually in education. I have my master's in counseling, and I was a school counselor, guidance counselor for years and years.
Perfect.
Yes.
Segue into what you're doing.
Exactly. So I kind of saw both sides of it in an interesting way, because I was working with teenagers, helping them figure out whether it's their college plans or sort of like what they want to do as a career. And I also saw a lot of burnt out educators, right? A lot of my colleagues who were really just kind of living for the weekend, waiting to get through the school day, the work day, and kind of is this separation of like work life and then their life. And between both of those experiences, I was also experiencing my own burnout and kind of feeling like I'm doing all this paperwork, and there's a lot of politics and a lot of red tape and the school systems. And am I making as much of an impact as I really can with hundreds of students on my caseload and, not enough time to really get to know each one of them more deeply. So during COVID, during quarantine, as many of us did, that's when I did a lot of self-reflection on how I wanted to take all those experiences and channel them into something where I felt like I could make more of an impact, balance my own needs, my own life, my own energy by helping fewer clients at one time, but being able to really go more deeply with them.
Yeah.
And so I left my full-time job last year, 2021, and have been building the business since then. So I've done some teen coaching work, and now it's really turned into more of adults on their career path and journey.
So what do specifically the last few people that have come to you, what are they looking for specifically?
So it's always a little bit different. I mean, the last couple of clients I've worked with are very much ready to make that change. They're feeling really stuck in their job. They're feeling really burnt out. They're feeling that their mental health is at odds with continuing in their current job. And they have all these ideas that are kind of crowding their brain and just no real clear path for how to approach it, or they feel like they can't, and it's like they don't want to give up the security of what's going on at their job, understandably, and they really just need a thought partner and someone to be able to reflect back to them everything that's been building up in their mind and take those, right? So like, I've been there too, like to take those ideas and make a plan out of it. So a lot of clients I work with have creative passions and either want to work for themselves or have a side hustle, side business of some sort. So I have some people who are interested in writing, photography, art, and kind of either want to monetize that or just include more of that in their life. Some entrepreneurs. So a lot of those people who are seeking to take a little bit more ownership of their days and their lives and have their work fit into their larger purpose, if that makes sense.
Now, I'm going to say through my filter and my belief system, what I would think that the biggest obstacle that people have is, like you said, is security. So what's your advice when someone comes to you and they have these passion projects for these things, but they currently need the security of the 9 to 5? What's your advice to somebody like that about how they can move into their dream life?
I love that question. And that's so much what I experienced as well when I was first kind of building the business on the side when I was working full time. And the best piece of advice that I think captured it for me was, if you can reframe your current job as as an investor, right? They're just investing in your success so if you're in the empowered place, you're the one that's building this new dream life for yourself. And this company or this, whatever it is, the job you work for, is just the investor in your success. You go in, you do your 8 hours a day, you come home, and then that's what they're funding, is all the projects outside of that. And just that simple reframe, I think that people feel like so indebted to this job, or they feel so stuck because they're like, well, I'm in this and I like belong to them. They might not say that, but that's like kind of how it can feel. Yeah. And instead being like, this job is serving a purpose for me right now, which is to fund my next level. And I can appreciate them for that. And I don't have to over-attach. Exactly.
Where they can find the gratitude, as opposed to going to work angry that they're there, having gratitude and, oh my God, thank you for this paycheck, because this paycheck is going to start leading me in those steps to do what it is.
Exactly. And stepping into the fact that it's your choice, right? Rather than I have no other choice, you can own like, my choice is to stay here, earn this paycheck. I'm so lucky to have this opportunity and be building this next step for myself. And I'm completely in the power position. It's my choice to be here and take this paycheck and use it the way I want to. And I think that little mindset helps a lot.
I don't know. For some reason, what's coming up for me is objections, which is when I'm going to ask you things like that. I hope it's not like putting you on the spot too much, but that was one of them. The other objection maybe somebody has is I know that some people, when they are working full time, right, and then let's say they want to be a coach, or they want to have some type of business where they want to be respected. However, they're afraid they won't be respected because they're not full time. Like, let's say even like in real estate, I was in real estate for a long time. They're like, why would people want to work with me when I'm still at my full-time job and I'm just doing this on the side? But they still need their full-time job to fund being able to do this, but they haven't fully made the transition. And they have this sort of fear around being judged, of why would I work with you when you're not full time?
Interesting. Yeah. I hear
Does that ever come up for you with clients? Has anybody ever came to you with that?
Not in that specific way. I've gotten definitely a ton of imposter syndrome based kind of objections. Not necessarily always around not being full time and not being able to be taken seriously. But I think for that objection, which is so valid and such a good point, it's knowing that's obviously our own stuff coming up, right? We don't know that that's even what the other person is thinking. That's totally our own judgment, or what we're probably telling ourselves, that it's like, oh, I'm, not serious in this field because
it's their own judgment. It's their own judgment that they're applying to themselves. And then they create that by attracting people that see them through that lens. So it's their own judgment.
Yeah.
That they would have of somebody else, that they're going to, because they have that judgment of somebody else, they're going to assume that's usually what judgment is.
Right. Exactly.
Else that you're afraid somebody's going to put on you.
Exactly. And I think that, so a lot of the work I do with my clients too is clearing those limiting beliefs and obstacles and barriers that kind of just are our own self-sabotaging mechanisms that just hold us back. So I think that for that particular scenario, remembering that you still have something to offer, like your qualifications or your ability to help someone else, whether it's in coaching, whether it's in real estate, they're coming to you, whatever you do. If you are in client-based work, they're coming to you to help solve a problem, right? As long as you can solve the problem, help them get to their solution.
Love it.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's oh, this is what I do on my other days of the week. No, because you're here right now and you're with me. And as long as you can connect with that person and hold space for them, that's what they're going to pay you for and be there with you for. And just remembering that, and kind of putting the other stuff, like kind of blinders with the other things.
Well, you brought up something important, which I think was probably the reason why I thought to ask you something like that segues into it is imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome can show up in a variety of ways. And in general, how do you help people with imposter syndrome? Because that's a very real problem that a lot of people experience, that keeps them from reaching their goals or doing what it is that they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so prevalent. And I do believe in a lot of mindset work. One thing that I really like to do is have people, highlight their wins. This is a very basic, simple kind of technique, but looking back and reflecting on times where they felt like they made that positive impact through one of their skills, gifts, or talents, and reflecting on those, and really even having those at the ready to remind themselves. I'm a big fan of a reminder note on your phone or something like that. Things to remind yourself of oh yeah, I have a proven track record of helping people with this problem or receiving this positive feedback. And that is what I can remind myself if I'm not feeling like I am worthy or stepping into this in the best way. And it is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, accepting that it is normal if it feels like you're uncomfortable. I think about this metaphor of repotting a plant, and how it's going to be smaller than the new pot. The plant is has room to grow. So sometimes when you feel a little bit small, it's because you're stepping into your next level. So almost leaning into those feelings, I think, can be helpful.
Well, on the note of what you said, I want to show you something. So I had this, I still have a coach, and every time any thought comes up for me, something big comes up, and I start to move into she can see I start to move maybe into the self-doubt, or I say hey, not I'm afraid, but this is a little uncomfortable for me. She always says, you got this. And one of my favorite things too is the Beverly Hills motif, the palm leaves. Are you familiar with the palm leaves which has become very trendy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
I was in a store by my house and I saw this, and it says,
"Oh my God!"
And it has my favorite motif on it. So I keep this on my desk.
I love that.
Yeah. I keep it on my desk, and I swear how many times a day am I doing something and you're oh, and I turn over and I'm oh, okay, I got this. It's I hear her voice in my head. You got
Absolutely. I love that. And I think that's such a good point, because what I love to have clients do too, and that's a good visual one, but you want something that your brain can attach to really quickly. So whether it's a go-to affirmation, whether it's a sticky note you're going to see, where your brain doesn't have to really work that hard to reach for it, and it's just automatically something you turn to, is so good to have up your sleeve. Because,
I'm not going to embarrass myself and turn the camera around, but behind here is a whole wall of of my of my stickies. Money loves to,
yes.
That's one of my favorite ones. Money loves to replenish itself.
I have my little, looking at my board, I have anything is possible. I have like envision your future, choose gratitude. Yeah. Big fan.
And also what's important too is when I hear those affirmations that resonate with me, and I write it down, and then right away, I always keep them like, keep this here and write it down. So when I feel an affirmation like through my whole body and it resonates with me, because if you don't connect with an affirmation, it doesn't really work for you. It's like what works for you is the one that you connect with. So when I hear it and I'm like, oh my God, and I connect with it, as simple as it seems, and I write it down, and in that moment, kind of like the energy behind the writing and the paper, and I post it. When I read the affirmation of the me, it reignites that exact feeling when it's your own affirmation and it's your own, like, strength and feelings behind 100%. It. I think is really important, instead of like regurgitating general affirmations or affirmations that somebody else gives to you. I'm a really, really big affirmations fan, and in my classes, we go over why affirmations don't work for exactly that reason. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's not going to work. Your mind has to believe it in order to create that programming. And then because these people, I'm like, what are your affirmations? And they're usually like, I feel great. I'm like, well, do you feel great? No. I'm like, well, then that's a stupid affirmation. It's like, exactly. I encourage people to write affirmations from like where they're lacking, if that makes sense. Like, I can't think of one right now, but usually like if they have like a negative situation, I turn that around into an affirmation. Like when I pick up the phone, like I feel great. Like, cause they're like, oh, I hate picking up the phone. I feel bad. Okay. Yeah. Turn them to a positive. Like as soon as I pick up the phone, I know dollars are going to come out of it. Like, something like that, to create like positive associations with. I know that's not the best example, but
no,
I'm
but
usually
I
pretty
love
good
that.
at it on the spot when someone comes with an objection of how to turn that into an affirmation. It's just not flowing right now.
No. And I love it. A few of my other favorites is also to just turn it into like, I'm willing to see this differently, or like I'm open to this result, or something like that. So sometimes if it feels more believable to just be like, I'm open to receiving this outcome or whatever it is. Yeah. Sometimes that can feel more believable than like I feel great right now. It's like, I'm willing to be open to feeling great.
I am willing to go beyond what I believe.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, wait, something like that sounds familiar. Yes. I free myself now. A reminder, what I focus on expands.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So tell us a little bit about like how your coaching is structured, how many sessions it is, what's like the average that people come to you for. How does it work?
So right now it's a standard 3-month package. And so I work with clients for 3 months, and the way it's structured as of right now is 3 weeks of sessions in a row each month, and then 1 week of integration. So we start with a 90-minute deep dive session, and then we kind of really put it all on the table. We do a lot of, I have a lot of paperwork designed to kind of help people get deeper into their truest desires. And we go over all of that in the first session. We really set some clear goals. We start with some of the unblocking. We kind of work on those unblocking and affirmations and things that will help them stay really stable.
People don't really know where they're stuck. They just say I'm stuck. So it's good to have those questions, because it like causes them to like stir and poke through things and explore what's really going on inside. Because a lot of times people don't know. They just know that they're unhappy and they don't want to be unhappy anymore.
Exactly. So we need to really kind of pinpoint, where is the block to this? Like, what is holding you back? So we spend a lot of time in the beginning really doing that. And then, each of our sessions, we meet for an hour, 3 times a month for 3 months, and really work on diving into what they deeply, deeply want, being radically honest, and kind of, for the time being, removing the radical honesty, which can be so scary.
Not just to other people, but to themselves. Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's hard, and that's why it's helpful to do it in coaching, with someone who can, kind of hold your hand through it to make you, remind you that it's going to be okay. And just that alone is so powerful, the ahas and the realizations that people have. And then we really structure a plan to get them moving towards that goal or that next step. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to leave their job tomorrow, like we were talking about. Right. They might need to really stay in it and build something on the side for a while, but to really get the ball rolling, to help them keep getting clarity about what it is.
A non-judgmental partner. Because sometimes they might tell their parents or their spouse or somebody else, and then that person puts their own limiting beliefs on them, like, oh, you can't do that, that's dumb, or you can't do that, you can't afford to do that, or like they have this non-judgmental partner, co-creator, cheerleader in their corner that is assisting them.
That's what I say. I'm like, I'm holding this vision for you. Like, the vision is there. I am your vision holder. Like, you move towards it, and I have the vision in my mind for you. So it's really, really exciting to see it come to fruition.
And on a personal note, because I know from my own experiences that I can tell by your smile that I have to ask you this. Yeah. How does it feel for you when people get there?
It is so, it's so rewarding, and I'm so proud of them, because really what I know is that, not only will they be in a work situation that will be less stressful and not as impeding on their mental health, but they really learned that they're capable of so much more than they originally thought when we first started our work together, and so to know that they have that takeaway and that experience, I know is going to have a ripple effect in the rest of their lives. And so to me, it's like, if I could play a small part in that process for them, like, I honestly just feel honored, and as it's such a gift to just be a witness to that process. Yeah.
Yeah. I do a lot of, phobia work and, freeing people from, the situations that keep them in like this cage. Right.
Yeah.
And last Friday, my client called me, and she never calls. She only sticks, to our appointment. And she's just was like, I just want to call and tell you that I love you. And I wanted to cry, because it's like the freedom, especially in what you do, it's the freedom that you give people to be free from all these things that keep them bound in this cage. And when you're able to free people and watch them flourish, is there's nothing better in life than that, really, besides maybe my kids. There's really nothing better than seeing people live their truth.
Absolutely. It's like moving, right? It's just like, oh my God.
I don't even know what the word is.
Right. No, exactly. I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it. Because that's what we need, right? We need people living their truth, living their light, not dimmed out, not stuck, not feeling small, and being their most expansive selves. It's the best.
Oh, beautiful. We're so grateful to, have somebody like you here to help people. That's what that's all about. This is what spiritual cocaine is about, is being able to, ignite these. That's why I call it spiritual cocaine. That people are like, what the hell does that mean? That's such a controversial name, but it's really creating that inner high and knowing that we have access to that, and guiding people and helping them to be able to find that light within. right? That they don't have to go to outside things and they don't have to be in circumstances that they feel, you know, that their light has been dim or they've been suffocated or that they're caged in, right?
100%. Yeah, I love that.
What is the best way for people to get in touch with you? Is it your Instagram? Is it your website, email? What's your preferred method or multiple, or even just to get to know you better? Tell us all the ways.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like all of the above, but I am on Instagram. I'm at Balance with Katharine, and I am
Katherine. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And so I'm pretty, you know, active on there. I love to just like hear people in the DMs. People can reach out to me anytime. I'm on email too. My email is hello@KatharineDiMaggio.com.
Can you spell that out for us?
Yeah. It's KatharineDiMaggio.com. And people can email. I know I have a really long name, and I actually have a free recording meditation that's all about getting clarity in your next steps, and it comes with a little journal exercise. So if anyone's interested in that, like, I'm also happy to send that to whoever may want it, but I would just love to hear from people. Yeah, thank you.
And I also was just reminded to point out the fact that, you know, with all my interactions with all the people I'm doing podcasts with and all that, you stood out. I messaged you that, right? Like, you stood out far and wide as far as like just your efficiency and just following directions and everything you did. And the reason why that's important is because that is who you are in your business, right? You're representing yourself as a coach who has it together, that's teaching people to get it together to where they want to be, and that you fully embody that. And that's really important, that there's a lot of people who kind of contradict what it is that they teach. And here you are fully embodying the person that's in your business. And that's important to me, that you through and through, you really are that person. You're not just saying it, and you're talking the talk and walking the walk, you know? So I just wanted to say that's something that was really stood out for me about you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being on the Spiritual Cocaine Podcast, where we teach you to heal those parts of yourself that hold you back from living your best life. I'm Jesika, the mind trainer, and today we had Katharine with an E, DiMaggio, telling us about her incredible practice. And you will definitely all be so blessed that if you are lost and you want to find your way, if you want to start anew, or if you're just beginning your process, the best way to success is to have someone to guide you. And you have an incredible person here who is available to help you. And I definitely think you should reach out to her. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining me, Jesika, the mind trainer, and Phobia Eliminator here on the Spiritual Cocaine Podcast. If you loved what you heard today, please be sure to leave us a positive review on this podcast so that it can continue to provide you with the best resources available in your ascension journey. Most of the episodes can be watched on our YouTube channel, which you can find by searching Spiritual Cocaine on YouTube. Find out more about our guests in depth on our website, spiritualcocaine.com, along with many other gifted practitioners. And as always, give us a follow on Instagram, where you will definitely find our juiciest content. Our Instagram address is @spiritualcocaine_. Bye for now.